Hello and welcome to the Federal. With less than 10 days left for the polling in Maharashtra, today we speak to Dr. Vinay Sahasrabuddhe, Chief of the Manifesto Committee of BJP, on the promises for the state polls. Thank you for joining us, sir. Sir, the
Thank
BJP
you.
has announced
Thank
its
you. And it's a pleasure to be talking to you, Gyanji. Tell me. Yeah.
Sir, the BJP has announced its manifesto for the polls today. Give us your initial thoughts about the manifesto and also about the mission Maharashtra 2029. What is that document which the BJP and the NDA government plans to present in the first 100 days?
Yeah. Basically, a longer term view is captured through a vision document, and a manifesto is supposed to be for maybe 5 years, kind of a tenure. And therefore, vision document is nothing new that way. As it is, India has been discussing during APJ Abdul Kalam's time, Vision 2020. And now, under the leadership of Prime Minister, we are talking about India at 2047 with the aspiration of making this a developed country, a Vikasit Bharat. But insofar as the manifesto is concerned, I think there are three things which I certainly would say are the salient features of this particular manifesto, which we have called a Charter of Commitments or Sankalpa Patra kind of. And the three things are basically the crowdsourcing process through which it has been prepared. We have received several thousand suggestions from more than 877 places, both rural and urban, out of the entire Maharashtra. And some people from beyond Maharashtra also gave us their suggestions. So, naturally, there is a great amount of people's participation, and we have been emphasizing on this all along. So this is one of the important features, unlike several other political parties. Secondly, this particular manifesto takes care of every section of the society, urban and rural. At the same time, our tribal communities, scheduled tribes, scheduled caste, OBCs, women, elderly persons, senior citizens, especially the youth, sports persons. I mean, you name a category or a section of the society, and there is something for that particular section which the BJP has promised. So, this is the second important thing. Thirdly, we have also dealt with what we call as regional imbalances in Maharashtra. For example, when we talk about development, it is generally confined to Mumbai, Thane, Nasik, Pune, and this particular quadrangle kind of. Now we go beyond that. At the same time, considering the need for infrastructure development and also social development, especially in the sector of education, number of very ambitious plans have been thought of, and they find a mention in our manifesto.
So the Lok Sabha election results of Maharashtra must have been a setback for the BJP. But Haryana results would give you some confidence. How difficult is the competition this time when six prominent parties are contesting polls for the first time?
See, although there are six prominent political parties, if you look at the history, the immediate past of Maharashtra politics between 2019 and 1924, then you will realize that simply because of the lure of power, some forces engineered some fragmentation in an otherwise well aligned ideologically kind of a polity in Maharashtra. I mean, there was no reason for the Marathi people, the Maharashtra polity for that matter, to have as many political parties as there are right now. Basically, this is simply because of the unwise moves on the part of Uddhav Thackeray to break away from BJP, although they fought their elections under the NDA and later on they backtracked, they deserted the NDA and tried to hobnob and later on form a government with their arch rivals, about whom Bal Thackeray had, without mincing any words, assailed the Congress people and also the NCP of Sharad Pawar. And later on, naturally, as it was an unnatural alliance, kind of whatever was required to happen happened, which was like in share market, you think about correction. So what happened in 2022 in Maharashtra was kind of a political correction, and therefore. Had Uddhav Thackeray not projected Aditya as his successor, or had Mr. Sharad Pawar not projected Supriya Sule as his successor, I think they could have avoided this kind of a split. So the seeds of whatever is happening today in Maharashtra are in 2019 November on the one hand, and later on in 2022, wherein because of the kind of blinded with the desire to make their progeny successors, their political successors, these things have happened. So the parties that have fragmented, the heads of those parties are solely responsible for this fragmentation.
BJP has promised farm loan waiver, 20% subsidy on MSP, plan for rural infrastructure growth. But Chief Minister Eknath Shinde and Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar both have acknowledged that the NDA faced the anger of farmers during the Lok Sabha poll. Has the NDA managed to solve their grievances now?
See, one thing one has to realize that with changing climate all over the world, farming is really becoming extremely difficult. And to ensure that farmers do not desert farming, what we have to do is we have to provide incentives all along, one after the other. There is no escape from that. See, today the climate change and the impact of climate change is so severe. The amount of rains that we get, that we should be getting across a period of, let's say, 4 months, we are getting it in 4 hours. So situation is alarming, and therefore farmers require to be protected from the onslaught of the natural or rather climatic changes. At the same time, we need to provide some kind of a incentive for diversification of crop patterns as well. As you would realize, Prime Minister emphasized on millets, and we observed the International Year of the Millet in 2023. The reason also was that, unlike our traditional crops like rice or maybe wheat and several others, the millet, everything that comes under millet, requires less amount of water, less amount of period to have the crops standing in the farms, and therefore economically also, and also on the count of nutrition, it was very advisable to have more millets grown in the farms. And which is why, apart, I mean, considering all these issues which are not under the control and which could not be under the control of any government for that matter, we have to provide kind of a uh, some kind of an incentive to the farmers to continue with their farming. And what we have done is precisely that.
BJP has promised 2100 rupees under the Ladli Bahin scheme. Why is it that the BJP is confident that a spectacular victory of the party in Madhya Pradesh because of the scheme will be repeated in Maharashtra also?
See, one thing you should, I mean, all of us should be understanding that this is not any kind of a unemployment dole or distribution of largesse as such. The Ladli Bahin Yojana and the kind of financial support that we are providing eventually is helping women empowerment. Today, self-help groups have become a public movement kind of. And if women have to participate in self help groups and try to economically become self dependent, then we need to provide them something. And 2,100 is not a very big amount as such, but still it comes handy to the women who are otherwise under the control of their husbands or any other male members in their family. And this helps self-dependence of women on the one hand. And if women become self-dependent, naturally it impacts on the social, cultural, economic health of the family as well.
Sir, since unemployment is a major political issue, there's a lot of focus on employment generation. BJP has promised 25 lakh jobs rupees 10,000 stipend for 10 lakh students and training also. Uh, do you think these issues which were present in Lok Sabha elections have been addressed now for the assembly polls?
I think to suggest that during the Lok Sabha they were not addressed is also not correct. If you look into the manifesto of our Lok Sabha elections, I think we had ample provisions for the youth and especially the apprentice scheme. Some inkling of that one could get through the manifesto of the Lok Sabha as well. And today, what we have done is, for example, for the first time in our country, perhaps, Maharashtra and the BJP in Maharashtra will be the party that has talked about skill census, which is something very critical. We don't know what kind of skills, skilled people we have. And therefore, it will be a unique skill census that we will be conducting on the one hand. On the other hand, we have proposed at least three different universities dedicated to special subjects. For example, we have promised a university for artificial intelligence and all other emerging technologies, something very unique. In the entire Konkan coastal region, right from Thane to Sindhudurg, we do not have any institution which deals with oceanography and fisheries sciences. And we want it to be integrated, and therefore we have promised a separate independent university to take care of oceanography and fisheries sciences. Both these need to go hand in hand. And third important thing is that as we have a very rich tradition of artisans, traditional artists, in fact, we have also proposed a university for the artisans where we can perhaps certify the skills acquired by the young artisans who are traditionally belonging to the artist families, and therefore they acquire these skills from their senior people in the family, and they require to be recognized. That is what we plan to do. So all these things eventually will add up to some kind of livelihood opportunity generation. See, today employment is more in the form of livelihood opportunities. And that is what we are doing. As Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar had once famously said, that youths, and he said it in the late 50s, that youths, instead of trying to become job seeker, they should aspire to become a job giver. And with these kind of self-employment opportunities, which will open up for the younger generation with these independent, innovative ideas of universities, I think these things are going to take shape.
So the performance of your two alliance partners, Shiv Sena and NCP, was not satisfactory during the Lok Sabha polls. And now it is the responsibility of the BJP to help them perform better. How big a challenge do you think it is?
Well, we have been helping each other, and I'm sure their leadership is also conscious of the fact their strike rate was not very impressive, as you are rightly pointing out. But then I'm sure these parties are led by experienced people, seasoned politicians, and they would take care of it. Uh, the responsibility of ensuring that every party emerges victorious is a shared responsibility. They also will have to help BJP, and BJP naturally will help all our alliance partners.
So the NDA has changed its strategy in Maharashtra this time and they have not announced the chief ministerial candidate. How difficult is the choice since you have three big leaders, Mr. Shinde, Mr. Ajit Pawar, and of course Mr. Devendra Fadnavis?
See, there is no one size fits all kind of a formula when it comes to announcing or projecting the future chief minister. Even in Madhya Pradesh or in Rajasthan or in Odisha, we had not declared this CM face. And several other parties also. When Telangana election was fought and later on won by the Congress party, nobody knew that Revanth Reddy ji will be the future chief minister of Telangana. So these things continue to happen. Political parties assess the situation and accordingly plan their strategy. So there is no question of any difficulty. We are all unanimously of the opinion that after the election, three political parties and their leaders will sit together, seek the guidance of our central leadership, and eventually, without any hiccups, we will be electing our chief minister.
So my last question is the ongoing tussle between the OBC community and the Maratha community in Maharashtra did affect NDA's performance in Lok Sabha. How does the BJP plan to reach out to the two communities?
See, basically, in Maharashtra, or for that matter, any other state also, it is a misnomer to think that people every time vote according to their caste. How political pundits very confidently are able to tell us that this particular caste has voted for this particular party. It is hypothetical, it is imaginary, it is just a guesswork kind of a thing. So we believe that BJP is a party of the entire society, and all sections of the society do support BJP. There is no reason why they should not support BJP. In fact, we are the only party, and unfortunately, our opponents are taking umbrage to our slogan like "Ek rahenge to safe rahenge." They are complaining. What is wrong in it? It is equally valid as what Prime Minister had said, which is "Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat." So एक रहेंगे safe रहेंगे. It is in the same tune. But unfortunately, those who are suffering because of a guilt conscious, because when somebody talks of unity and integrity, the pro-fragmentation forces naturally have a stomach ache. They don't want people to be integrated and united. They want people to be divided because divide and rule has been their policy. And therefore, they are taking umbrage. We believe that every other section of the society, including Marathas and OBCs and whatnot, definitely have a reason to support BJP because we are a party of good governance.